Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tacoma Cyclist. I am the Tacoma Cyclist, and with me, as usual, is the Boogeyman.
Hey.
We're going to do another race breakdown here. Our most recent race breakdown video was actually really popular, so we figured we'd go ahead and do another one. This one's been in the can for a while, though, and this is the Boogeyman's race again, and not mine. I will say that, unfortunately, I wrecked out the day before this at Tour of America's Dairyland. I got taken out by somebody who was doing something stupid, so I didn't get to race this one, unfortunately. Look at how aggressive this start is, right?
Yeah.
All right, talk us through this race.
It was really kind of a sprint out of every corner. It didn't actually average as fast as I would have thought it was going to, but it was a very hard race. There was actually a hill on the backside that doesn't really look that steep on the camera, but you could definitely feel it every single time.
Yeah, I mean, the little ones like that do eat into you, especially since the two races prior to this, the Janesville races, had something similar, right? They had a little bit of a climb, and you don't really feel it, but after 3 days of this, it does start to wear on you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, talk us through the rest of this course here. How about the actual layout, the technicality of it?
It was a really easy crit. I mean, it was just 90-degree corners, except for the final corner, which could be a little bit tricky, but it was fine for the most part.
Yeah, when we pre-walked that, we were watching some of the other racers go around it, and it was relatively wide. This corner coming up, not this one here, the next one. If you took the corner well, took a good line, which I think your race mostly did. We watched some of the other races earlier in the day, and they were just not taking good lines through this. But it's definitely a relatively sharp turn, but wide roads. How many people were in this race? I think like 80-something?
Like 86.
86 people. And there is Legion in here. Only one of their riders, not their full squad, but Ama Nasek. And he actually... Was it the day before where... I mean, the preems in this race were insane, right?
Yeah.
Like, they were giving out $500 preems like they were candy. And I think Amma took a couple of the preems the day before and literally was just like... After he grabbed one of the $600 preems, he was just like, peace out, and he just like rolled off the course. He's like, all right, I'm done. I think he collected a couple $1,000s in preems and was just like, done, punched out. So, anyway, course seems pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
What was one of the biggest challenges with combining really strong juniors and pretty strong adult amateurs? And I'm not trying to be mean to the adult amateurs, but they're not as strong as the juniors. I'm sorry, it's just not. They're just not.
Well, honestly, they kind of got in the way. They took corners very strangely. I couldn't really describe it. They just didn't take it like the rest of us. And they were aggressive, but in a strange way again. I don't think our two fields worked well together.
Yeah, I mean, the Lux guys really did dominate this race. I mean, you had 6 or 7 Lux guys. You had a couple Swift. You had Ama from Legion, who's just a beast. And then you had a bunch of other kind of randos. And we even heard them talking crap about the juniors, right? They're like, why are the juniors in this race? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the juniors won every single one of these races. And like Colby Simmons and a couple of the other guys from these teams from Lux, they just got signed to Lotto Jumbo's U23 development team like 3 months after this race. So this is not like, they shouldn't be picking on the juniors. They should be like, we should be honored to race with this type of thing, because they were not. I'm sorry, the adults in this race were just not holding it with the juniors. It just was in a different league. So, unfortunately, though, there were also a couple wrecks in here, too, weren't there?
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, and your teammate was one of them. And, in fact, we're going to cut to another portion of the race here in just a minute, and it leads up to a wreck that happened. I think you had wrecks in every single one of the Tour of America's Dairyland races that you were in. Is that right?
Yep.
And sometimes a few per race, right?
Yeah.
What was some of the causes of what did you see as some of the causes of that?
Either it was a little bit of stupidity, a little bit of aggression, and some of it was just the adults combining with the juniors, just a different kind of style.
Yeah, I mean, the style is something that's really I found to be interesting. like I said, I got wrecked out the day before this race pretty badly, and it was because of stupidity in mine. Somebody decided to try to ride up on a curb and then jump back into the pack at like 38 miles an hour. That doesn't work. But interesting, we've been traveling a lot this year, right, for racing.
Yep.
And different regions of the country race crits differently, like dramatically so. There was some value to these. Like, these were good crits. And in fact, I think, what do you think about the organization overall?
Oh yeah, this race in particular was really cool. If you've ever done the Zwift crit circuit with all the like jumbotrons around the circuit, this course had those. It was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the town of Grafton really went out of their way to make us feel welcome, and that was super cool. I mean, I really enjoyed it, even though I was just on the sidelines. Like, the coffee shops were open and helping out people. There was lots of food trucks. There were lots of other things to do. The race organizers put on a fantastic race. Like, Janesville, Grafton, all of it. It was fantastic. So we're definitely going back next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't conflict with something. And that was the other thing. So you're leading up to nationals on this, right?
Yep.
So when this was on Saturday, this race,
Yep.
and then we flew out from Wisconsin to nationals, literally the next day,
It
right?
was either Sunday or Monday, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday. We flew out from Chicago to Florida, so you could race nationals. And interestingly, while we were here in Wisconsin, which it was warm here, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty freaking warm. There was a heat wave in Washington, and that heat wave was pretty stifling. So, all right. So unfortunately, we're about to show up. We're about to see the wreck here. You can see the Boogeyman's teammate right in front of you here in that black kit. A little squirreliness, right?
Yeah.
Talk us through what kind of happens here.
So as we round this left-hand corner, I can't really tell what happens, but it kind of looks like this guy right here just ninja kicks my teammate's front wheel.
Yeah, like Chuck Norris is going nuts on his front wheel up here. We'll see it again. It doesn't even look like he hit anything. It just looks like he lost control of his bike.
And just unclipped for some reason.
Right, and then kicks his wheel. Now, your teammate was okay, but
Yeah, he had some pretty bad road rash on his face.
yeah, literally on his face. Like, his face took the beating. So you had to chase back on here for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Not terrible, but you had to chase a bit. What was your goal for these types of races? Specifically for Tour of America's Dairyland, what was your goal?
This was really just a race for me to learn. This actually helped the rest of my season, and greatly so. I mean, I've definitely become a better crit racer after doing these races. And particularly these ones, I wasn't trying to be super aggressive or like trying to win everything just because I had nationals the next week. And if I wrecked out in this, that would ruin nationals for me.
Yeah, that would kind of suck. That was kind of an important one. All right, so we're going to cut forward again. You can see Amma here on the right from Legion. I guess in your mind, like if you're behind one of the guys from Legion, and we're about, I don't know, halfway through the race here now, you're probably in good position, right?
Yeah.
Not a bad place to be. Let's talk through some of the graphics real quick, because some of you might wonder, like, what in the world's going on. Like in the top left graphic there, the Boogeyman has to roll his warm-up along with his cooldown and his race all in the same fit file. That's the way his coach wants to see it. So you'll see, like, he's just meandering around city streets on the top left of that map. In case you're wondering, that's what that is. And the reason that the distance is the way that it is because, again, you squeezed in a couple miles of riding beforehand, right?
Yep.
So pardon that. All right, we're going to cut forward here. Talk us through this one. This is another wreck that unfortunately occurs.
Yeah, this guy didn't do anything wrong. His tire just popped right here. Or actually, not right here.
Coming up in just a minute.
But the corner right before where my teammate wrecked, that's where his tire popped and he slid out, and it was not a good wreck. He was down the next time we came around, actually.
Yeah, next couple times. You can tell people are kind of on the limit there. The Swift guy here is kind of, you can see he's bobbing all over the place. He's kind of on the limit. And right about here, you can actually hear his tire pop, and you can see him just, yeah, there was nothing he could do, right?
Yeah.
Watch that again. At first, it didn't look like it was that bad of a crash, but to be honest, it was pretty rough. Like he was down for quite a while. He did have to get pulled off in an ambulance. He didn't do anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just...
I mean, it could have been a piece of glass, could have been a little nail, staple.
Yeah, it could have been anything. I mean, and his tire just blew out. I think he did the best he could to try to recover it. He moved to the outside to avoid taking other people down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just the best you can do in a situation like that. So we've kind of moved forward here to the last, couple laps of the race.
Mm-hmm.
And really just want to watch this play out. Maybe you can talk us through a little bit about like what's going through your head at this point. Obviously, the race has slowed down a little bit right now.
Yeah.
So what's at this point like what's kind of going through your head? What are you trying to accomplish here?
I'm not really going for a goal at this point. I kind of already got my goal. Just don't wreck and stay in the pack to get the experience. Not that I'm worried that I'm going to get dropped or anything. But really, here was the only time to move up. The next straightaway was really the only time to move up.
Yeah, it is, because you're right. I mean, like, they're really short segments, right?
Yeah.
You could maybe take a wheel or two here on this segment that you were just on, but look how fast you guys get moving. And this is one of your slower laps. Like, you guys were pretty low down at this point.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, every single lap doing 700, 800 plus watts out of this corner. And bear in mind, I don't weigh that much, so that's a lot for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's 15 watts per kilogram, give or take, coming out of those corners every single time. And that happened a lot, right? Like, you guys were sprinting out of everything. Very European-style racing. Just go fast, sprint hard every single corner.
Yeah, the only thing that was really different is just that these roads are a little bit wider.
Yeah. And at least you were able, in places like this to move up. You made up 10 wheels right there. And then that corner right there, by the way, corner one in this race, it looked like it was a pretty straightforward corner. It wasn't. Like, it was sketchy. It was sketchy a lot of times. Do you recall that?
Yeah, really only on the inside line, though, because there was, like, the little barriers that they had on the inside.
Yeah, those white metal barriers.
Yeah, their feet were sticking out into the line a little bit.
Yeah.
I heard other people having problems with that, but I never really had anything wrong with them.
Well, I can tell you, I was spectating on the sidelines, and I was right there in turn one for the first several laps. And as people were making that right turn around those barriers, their shoulders would literally hit the barriers. And I just thought if one of their jerseys were to snag one of the corners, the exposed corners on those barriers, like, they're taking out the whole pack. Because they were, it was coming through fast. And once you passed the crown in the road, it was off camber. So if you took the outside line, you really couldn't pedal through that turn. These streets were you can see here, they're pretty, they're arced. So they're on camber if you're on the inside line. On the outside line, they're off camber, big time. I don't know if that's for like rain control, water control. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we were talking about the temperature earlier. The funny thing is, the Boogeyman and I spent 2 weeks traveling to race. A week here at America's Dairyland. Wisconsin was having heat snaps. It was in the upper 90s. Then we went to Florida, where it was hotter than Satan's armpit in August, and
you'd walk outside and you feel like you just stepped into an ocean.
Yeah, like a boiling ocean. It wasn't comfortable, and of course there was also pouring down rain in your road race, like the worst rain I've ever seen in a road race.
Yeah, I mean, someone told us that there was rain coming through their umbrella during my road race.
Yeah, it literally broke through people's umbrellas that hard. But it was still 100 degrees and 100% humidity. And then we come back to Washington, and they're having a heat wave. And we raced, like the second day we got back. We were heat acclimated. Nobody in Washington was. So we're racing. Everybody's dumping bottles on themselves through the entire race. And we're just like, it's nothing.
Yeah, we each finished like a quarter bottle of electrolytes.
Right. All right, so right here, we're really coming into the final, and you can see what happened, right? What happened here?
People just kind of stopped racing, I guess. That's the best way to describe it.
And you found yourself in the wrong place behind a split, right?
Yeah. I get not wanting to contest the sprint being like 30th, but it's also not really cool to the people behind you if you drag them off the back.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. So what do you do here? You want to get back up in contention, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not really my goal to like win this race or anything, but I at least want to see something good. So I kind of go off on my own just to get some position back.
Yeah.
That guy passes me, I pass him back, and then I pass this guy, and that's my race.
Yeah.
I think I got maybe like 5th in my field, and then I don't know, 30th in the whole thing out of like 86.
Yeah. So an okay finish, especially considering that was what your goal was to get out there, not wreck, not die, and get good experience. And I will say, if you want to learn how to race crits, I think Tour of America's Dairyland, probably one of the best crit series. We don't have a whole lot of exposure, but we are going to do this and possibly Intelligentsia next year as well, because this was just such a good experience. And I love seeing all these folks interacting with each other from all across the country. This is a nationwide. This race pulls people from across the country, so it's kind of awesome to see them interacting positively with each other.
And I love to see all the juniors out here too.
Yeah, I mean, there were a crap ton of juniors. What was it, like 45, 50 juniors total?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, these guys are strong. If you think, I don't know, if you think the juniors were the weak ones in the field, you got to think again. These guys they were dominating. Lux literally spent, like, in all of the races leading up to this, they were off the front, just dropping the hammer the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was just no competition at all. Legion did every once in a while go off the front and snag some preems and stuff, but really Lux dominated. Cool. Well, amazing races. We love these. We may have some other ones coming up soon from like the Janesville series or from some of the Nationals races. We have some of those as well. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, let us know. I think the Boogeyman's a lot more interested in sharing some of his races because, frankly, they're way better than mine. But, hit us with a like, a thumbs up, if you like the stuff. If you don't like it, let us know what you don't like. And subscribe. Turn on notifications. We're getting a lot more views and a lot more subscribers. I'm really excited about that. Boogeyman keeps watching our YouTube page grow, and he's telling me like every 5 minutes how many more viewers we have. So make him happy. Watch our videos and stuff. Other than that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you again soon.